Okay, these are the solutions for Course 2, Class 2, homework assignment number 1. Question 1 says, in the standard xy coordinate plane, the midpoint of QS is negative 4, 2. If point Q is located at negative 5, 0, and point S is located at some xy value, what is the value of x minus y? So really what this question wants you to do is first find the xy values and then subtract y from x. And really what's being asked is, since we know the midpoint here is at negative 4, 2, and we know that point Q is negative 5, 0, we have to figure out what the coordinates for point S are. One of the ways to think about this is look at these 2 points using rise over run. If we do that, we see to get from Q up to M would be how much does it take to go from the x of Q to the x of M, that's the run, and to go from the y of Q to the y of M, that's the rise. In this case, to go from Q of 0, or the y of Q, which is 0, to 2, your rise is 2. And then to go from the x of negative 5 to the x of negative 4, you're moving over 1 unit, so your run is 1. So rise over run, 2 over 1 is your slope. So to do that again, you would go up 2 and over 1 here. So going up 2 would mean moving up 2 from the 2 value, the y value of 2 in this. So in that case, their new value is going to be 4. And going over 1 from negative 4, you're going to go over 1 to negative 3. So your new values are negative 3, comma 4. But the question that they're asking is, what is the value of x minus y? So you've got to take in your value of x, which is negative 3, minus your value of y. Now your value of y is 4, but when you take away 4 from negative 3, you actually end up with a total of negative 7. The correct answer is E. Question 2 says the sides of a square is 6 centimeters long, so that means all 4 of the sides are going to be 6 centimeters. One vertex of the square is located at point 6, comma negative 6. So if we consider a standard coordinate plane, then our point that's given would be a positive 6 for the x and a negative 6 for the y. So it would look like this. And the question asks which of the following points could also be a vertex of the square. Now you're just doing a lot of thinking given your 5 options. One question is, could you get all the way up to x equals 6, y equals 6? Well, that puts you way up here, x equals 6, y equals 6. That's 12 units away. So, but you can only move 6 units to be a side of a square, so that first option is out. Could you go x equals 12, y equals negative 6? That has you moving 6 units this way on the x-coordinate and staying the exact same as the y-coordinate. So yeah, that could be an option. Could you go to 0, comma 6? So you're going to go back to 0 on the x-coordinate and then all the way up to 6 on the y-coordinate. No, that's too many units away, so that doesn't work. Could you go x equals negative 6? No, that puts you way over here. That's again too many units away, so that one doesn't work. And could you go x equals 12, y equals 6? Again, no, too many units away to get all the way up to that y equals 6, and x equals 12, you'd be way out over here. So the correct answer is G. Now, if you're very confident in your first pass through, then you might have stopped at the answer G and moved right on. Question 3 asks to find the distance between 2 points on an xy coordinate plane. Point P is at 0, 4, and point R is at 0, negative 3. You may recall that you got to use the distance formula here, which is distance equals the square root of x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared. It doesn't really matter which one you call x and which one you call x1. You just have to make sure that you are consistent. So in this case, I'm going to just use the first point to be the first x. So I'm going to do the square root of the first x is 0 minus, and the second x is also 0, so 0 minus 0 squared, I can do that, plus this first y is 4 minus the second y is a negative 3. I'm going to put a 4 minus a negative 3 squared, which equals the square root of 0 plus 4 minus a minus 3 is 7 squared, which equals 0 is going to be gone. Let's just get rid of that now. So that's going to equal the square root of 49, and that equals 7. The correct answer is A. Question 4 is a math problem that is a lot of thinking and very little math. It says if point T has a non-zero x-coordinate and a non-zero y-coordinate, that basically just means it's not sitting at the origin right here, it's in one of these coordinates. And the x and y coordinates have the same sign. So it can't sit right here, and they got to have the same sign. Which one of the quadrants must point T be located in? Well, over in this quadrant over here, we've got positive x's and positive y's. And here we've got positive x's but negative y's. And here we have negative x's and negative y's. And here we have negative x's but positive y's. So the places where they're the same are quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. The correct answer is K. Question 5 says the circle shown below has center -2, 5 and is tangent to the y-axis at 0, 5. What is the equation of the circle? This is a formula you might just want to try and memorize right before you go take the ACT. The equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared. Within this formula, h and k are the point coordinates of the center of the circle. In this case, they are -2 and 5. If you also look at the picture, since the circle is tangent to the y-axis, then we can determine the radius. It's how far away is this center point from the y-axis, and that is actually -2 units away. Or that's 2 units away right there. So now what we don't know is the x and the y, but we know everything else, and so you can write the equation like this: x minus a -2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 2 squared. Now you're going to want to simplify this minus a -2 to become x plus 2 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 4. And the correct answer is D. Question 6 says the coordinate graph is measured in centimeter units. What is the area of the triangle shown below in square centimeters? You need to remember that the area of a triangle equals 1/2 of the base times the height. In this case, you can determine the length of the base by following the coordinate grid, and you'll see that it's 7 units. So the base is 7 units long. And the height of it is 4 and 1/2 of that. So the area equals 1/2 of 28. So the area equals 14 centimeters squared. The answer is K. Question 7 says 3 vertices of a square are shown below. You can see them right here. What are the following coordinates of the fourth vertex? One of the ways you could look at this is, again, look at the change in y and x. Here, this one's going up 1 and over 5. Then to get to this vertex, we're going down 5 and over 1. And so to find this fourth vertex, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be down 5. Which takes us down to here. And then it's going to be over 1. The vertex puts us right there. If we draw that, we should see we have a square. So that puts that coordinate at -4, 0. The correct answer is C. Question 8 asks again to find the distance between the coordinates -4, -3 and -1, 3. Use the distance formula, which is distance equals the square root of x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared. Substituting for what we have, distance equals the square root of -4 minus a -1 squared plus -3 minus 3 squared. Simplifying, we get distance equals the square root of -4 plus 1 squared plus 3 minus 3 is a -6 squared. Keep going with that work. -4 and a +1 is -3 squared plus -6 squared, which equals the square root of 9 plus 36, which equals the square root of 45. Now the problem is you're not going to see the answer there, and so you have to simplify given what you know about this square root of 9 plus 36, or the square root of 45. Another way you can visualize the square root of 45 is the square root of 9 times 5, because that equals 45. This 9 is a perfect square, so it can come outside. If we know the square root of 9 is 3, then the correct answer is 3 times the square root of 5. Correct answer is K. Question 9 is another problem where we're given one endpoint and a midpoint of a line, and we want to find the other endpoint. In this case, one endpoint is -2, 6, and our midpoint is 1, 7. So the rise from the first point to the second point, we went from 6 to 7. So we went up 1, and then when we went over from -2 to +1, we went over 3. So our slope is 1 over 3. So what's it going to take for us to find the next point? We have to go up 1 on the y, which is 8, and over 3 on the x, which is 4, 8. Correct answer is E. Last question, question 10. AB is the diameter of a circle with the center O. If point A is located at -5, 3, and point B is located at 0, 4, what's the coordinate of point O? So if we visualize it, O is the center. Here's this diameter that runs from A to B like this. Think about this circle kind of going around like this. What you're trying to do is find the coordinate of point O. Well, and really in this case, point O is the midpoint between A and B along this diameter. It's halfway through the circle. So to get from A to B on the x-axis, you had to travel from -5 to 0. So halfway along that point is going to be -2.5. So one of your answers is going to be either F or G. And then to move from up the y-axis, you went from 3 up to 4. So you traveled 1 whole unit, but halfway up there's going to be half a unit. So the correct answer is F, -2.5, 0.5. It's half a unit. There you go. Correct answer is F. And that concludes your homework assignment. Once again, way to go. Good job.